Well, earlier this season, Lacey, you might remember we said that 2011 might just be the year of the minivan. We have an all-new Toyota Sienna, an all-new Odyssey. We have a substantially updated Grand Caravan from Dodge, and even Kia got in the action with a Sedona that's been refreshed.
Well, Nissan's been out of the minivan market for about a year, and they're back with an all-new Quest. There's an old saying that says if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. With that in mind, Nissan ditched the fashion-forward design of the last model and embraced a more conventional minivan design.
You know, we dropped out of the market actually for a year because we just wanted to make a big change between the previous generation Quest and this Quest, and we came back with a really different vehicle and one that's really aimed at being a van. We see the van market as one that's very important. That's what families use to move their friends, their family, their kids. That's how they get around. So we wanted to have a full-size van within the Nissan family.
Even with a similar minivan silhouette, Nissan still has a flair for the dramatic by adding extra lower body cladding, a hidden rear pillar for a more cohesive shape, and they added an SUV-inspired front grille. It could be said that the front also looks similar to the Toyota Venza.
Now, the Quest is the tallest of the minivans. It's not the longest or the widest, even though it might look like it. That distinction goes to the Honda Odyssey. The back of the van is fairly straight, as we mentioned, and it does come with an available automatic lift gate. The problem is you have to get to the top two trim levels in order to get this feature. Not available on the base model, and it's expensive. The back cargo area of the Quest is unique because when the third row is folded down, they flip forward. And the large and deep cargo space for items, which is usually space used by other manufacturers for seat storage, is available. It's a great idea. All of the seats fold forward to make a flat cargo surface.
Nissan got rid of the old interior, which didn't work at all, and it looks like they took a dip into the Infinity styling department to create this wonderful looking dash. The use of materials is absolutely top-notch, and the fit and finish is superb. The center console and control is the same layout and system that we've seen in other Infinity and Nissan products, and I think it's one of the easiest to use. Now, when the gear shift is engaged, it does obscure the radio controls a little bit. If you want to get steering wheel mounted radio controls, you're going to have to get one of the top two trims. The base model starts at just under $30,000, and it comes equipped with push-button start, in-dash CD changer, auxiliary jack, and power rear windows. It should be pointed out that in order to get Bluetooth and USB connectivity, the almost $39,000 SL model has to be chosen. That's not good packaging.
Now, we should point out that the back sliding door isn't that wide, but once you're inside, you're welcomed by two very wide and comfortable captain's chairs. Sure, they're comfortable, but if you want a bench seat to make this van into an 8-passenger, it's not available with Nissan. You're going to have to look somewhere else.
So how does this Quest stack up on the road? Well, the reference that we made earlier to Infinity also applies to its road manners. The chassis is very well insulated from the road, and the suspension is supple and luxurious. We'd have to get a Chrysler Town & Country to compare back to back to see which one's quieter, but the Quest might just be the smoothest and the quietest on the market. The same engine and transmission setup found in the Maxima and Murano propels this stylish van with ease. The 3.5-liter V6 engine has 260 horsepower, which makes this van more powerful than the larger Honda, but less powerful than the Dodge and Toyota V6 van. The real star of the Quest is the continuously variable transmission. It's smooth and refined, and it makes an already luxurious van even smoother.
Well, actually the vehicle is considerably different from the one we had previously. For one thing, we've adopted our CVT transmission to it, so this means we get extremely high fuel economy, very smooth, very quiet ride, a very easy car to drive. Almost anybody who drives it gets out of it saying, wow, is that ever a nice, pleasant car.
Sitting behind the wheel of this Quest is incredibly enjoyable in all aspects. On the highway, the interior is very quiet, and for such a large van, it's got a very small turning radius, so it's quite maneuverable.
Now, we did mention that this is the tallest van in the minivan bunch, and you know what? It does feel a little bit top heavy when you throw it into the corners. Now, you add in the overly boosted and light feeling steering, and this van doesn't feel as crisp in the corners as the new Dodge Grand Caravan, the Sienna, and the Odyssey. They've worked hard at dialing in the suspension on those vehicles. For drivers that could care less about handling but place comfort high on their priorities, the Quest has the edge over the competition. It isn't just the ride, but also the seats and ample room inside. We use a van regularly for production purposes, so we drive them all and often. Here's our cameraman and editor, Brian Chow, with his take on the Quest.
Number one, it's extremely smooth. The suspension is very supple. Number two, the CVT transmission. It's silky smooth. Perfect for everyday driving and good on fuel economy.
The Quest definitely isn't the value leader, with the base model starting at roughly $30,000, then quickly jumping to $35,000 for the SV, and then buyers will have to spend big time to get the SL at almost $39,000 and this top model at almost $49,000.
So Zach, where does this new Quest fit into the minivan pack?
Well, I think it's definitely shooting for the premium minivan market. It is not cheap, but if you look at it, it has some excellent features. First and foremost, I like the styling on the outside, and the inside is beautifully finished. It is a wonderful, smooth and refined ride and plenty of power. I think on the downside, it's not very well equipped at the base model. You have to go up to that $39,000 price mark to get it very nicely equipped, and that's way more money than some of the other vans in the marketplace. And on the driving side, the steering is just a little bit overboosted and too light for my taste, but that's a personal preference. What do you think?
Zach, I love this van. The first thing that really stands out for me is the interior. The overall design and layout's really easy to use, and the use of fabrics is just superb. The continuously variable transmission is so smooth, and the interior is unbelievably quiet. And you know what? For a big van, it's very maneuverable, so it's a great vehicle for the city or the highway. And on the downside, I don't really like the styling, and it's too bad that you can't get it configured as an 8-seater van, and that's really about it.
You know what, I think that if you're a value shopper, the Quest probably isn't going to be on your list. But if you're shooting for one of those top trim level Siennas or Odyssey, the Quest competes quite nicely.
Shopping for a minivan? Then see the reviews of all 5 current models at drivingtelevision.com.